What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Kingdom ROI podcast. This is going to be episode 3. We're super excited today because we have our first guest interview. We have Josh Freeman here with us today. This is the missionary that we actually went to Togo with when we went back in December. We had an awesome time with him, getting to know more about him. We actually had him as our small group leader back in 8th grade, right?
Yeah, full circle. 7th or 8th grade.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So we've known Josh growing up with him. He was a part of our church, and our church was actually one of his sending churches when he left Jacksonville and went out to Togo, West Africa to be a missionary. So he's back in town, and we're super excited to have him here with us. Josh, share a little bit about who you are, kind of what you do, and how you got here.
Well, super pumped to be with you guys.
Yeah.
And it is wild to think that when I was in college, you were in my Sunday school. It was great, man. We had a great time.
We did.
I'm sure we tested your patience.
Yeah.
You were the easy group. There were other groups.
Maybe that's the reation you went to Togo. You're
Maybe
like, I
you
can't
guys
deal with
chased
these.
me away. Get out of here.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So, I grew up as a pastor's kid, and went to Trinity Baptist College back in the day when, just to play soccer initially. And then through that time, felt like the Lord was calling me to be in vocational ministry, and jumped involved at student ministry. That's how I met you guys, where I did all my, started to do ministry was at Trinity in the student ministry, and then helped be a part of the Oakleaf launch campus for that one and start student ministry stuff over there. And through that ended up never really thinking that I would be a missionary to Africa. But while I was exploring what does God want me to do after college, it was maybe come on staff at a local church in the US, maybe even Trinity. But something was happening in my heart, I think, that summer before I was entering my senior year of college. And I ended up meeting a missionary named J.J. Alderman, who was a missionary in Togo at that time. He started the ministry that I'm a part of. And through that relationship, I was able to see God had gifted me specifically in areas, specifically given me a heart to go to places that need the gospel. I grew up in the Bible Belt. I see we got churches here. It's not that we don't need more churches, so I'm saying, but there are places that need churches. And so now I still thought that was going to be in the US. I really didn't think I was going to move to Africa. But through that time, the Lord just kept stirring my heart to be a part of wherever I can have the most influence possible for the kingdom. That's where I want to go. So where's the greatest need? What are the gifts that God has given me, and how do I leverage that for his kingdom?
Sure.
And so that's how I meet JJ, or during that time, JJ is just a mentor to me. I just learned from him, painted the picture of what we're doing here in Togo, and jumped in and jumped on board. He got me with Josh planting a church in the U.S. or come be a part of planting hundreds of churches in a place that doesn't have one. So that's what I did. I was like, I'm in. Let's go for it. So I've been there on the team, coming up on 6 years this year. And I've been leading the team there after JJ and Melissa left the field 3 years now, I think it is, somewhere around there. Yeah. So, and it's a blast. So we're in the voodoo capital of the world. It is a tough area, but man, we're seeing God do some incredible things. The ministry's existed for about 16 years, coming up on 17 now. And just earlier this week, we were talking about more churches being planted, and we have about 130 churches now that have been planted from one church plant started 17 years ago. And how we're trying to build a network of churches, see the gospel get to every single village in Togo. And we think it's actually really possible. We think we're going to do this in the next 4 years, not by ourselves, working with other ministries and organizations to see it happen. But our focus is that voodoo capital of the world, because it's the cultural influence of the area, and it's a dark place that needs the light of the gospel to come in. And man, so that's a little snippet of what we do, but yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, it's been so cool. Like us being at such an impactful part of our lives when we were watching you and seeing you as a small group leader, like the transition you had from, like, you came to the college, like you said, just kind of to play soccer.
Yeah.
And then how God just continued to impress upon your life, and you kept going like, okay, what's the next step? What's the next step?
Yeah.
go a little bit further and go a little bit deeper.
Yep.
And then before you know it, you were, on mission in Togo, which was just so cool to see how you were just able to say yes to whatever God was calling you to do, whatever the next step was.
Yep.
And that's something that I know that was super impactful for us, just being able to watch that and see and model that for us. So we're also very appreciative of, just living out that call of your life and us being able to see that. So kind of going back, like when you were still like in the college space, when you came to Trinity, what was your goals? Like, were you pretty much strictly coming for the soccer? Were you thinking like, oh, maybe there's a spiritual side of this too? Where were you at spiritually in that part of your life?
Yeah. So like I said, I grew up as a pastor's kid, and I did not want to go into ministry. Now, I wasn't like angry at the church. I was a believer. I wanted to follow the Lord, and
Just not much desire.
yeah, not a desire to go into vocational ministry.
Sure.
Really. But it was specifically in that year that first year that I was there. So I was pursuing soccer. That was my idol. That's what I wanted to do with my life. And so that first year, the Lord just, again, he stirred my heart for something more. And I don't really have like a specific, some people are like, oh, I'm called to missions, I'm called to this. I don't think I ever was. I just wanted to do whatever it took. I wanted to give my whole life for it, for his mission, wherever that was. And I just took one step of obedience every moment. And so I don't think it's magical in that. So my goals at the time when I had come was probably soccer, like just pursue this dream to play professional soccer one day. And it quickly transitioned to whatever I can do for the Lord.
Was there a specific moment that you had an encounter with God that stirred that, or was it a sequence of events, or what did that look like?
Yeah, I think when I first moved, there was like an important moment when I first moved to college, right? So it's like first time moving out of the house, away from the family, in a place that I grew up in. And I came to a Christian college falsely assuming everybody's going to be a Christian here, right? And it was playing soccer, so it's the fall season. So we actually come early before school even starts. And I'm living in rooming with guys, and we've got the whole school to ourselves right now because nobody's on campus. And these guys were not believers, right? And so we were just getting into some dumb stuff.
Mischief,
right? And I jumped in way too quick with it. Like I had too much of a desire to be liked, and so I didn't do anything crazy, but like I was not following the Lord. And I remember early on, school starts coming into session. People are there, and there was this girl who came up to us. She was she was a missions major of the college, and she was just wanting to introduce herself to the athletes that are there that aren't here for ministry, kind of thing. And she comes up, and I don't really know why she said this. And honestly, when I talked to her today, she doesn't even remember saying this, but it was so impactful. She comes up to me and she said, "Are you even a Christian?" I don't know if she said it that way, but I received it that way.
Sure, yeah.
And it hit me in that moment when she asked that question. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I've been out of the house 3 weeks and I'm already, what's happening?
Yeah.
I go up to my room and I hit my knees and I'm just praying, God, I don't want this. This is not right. I call people back home and say, you need to be praying for me. Like, I'm only here for 3 weeks and I'm already drifting. There was something about that moment that was like, this has to be real. This has to be all in. And so there wasn't like a specific written in the sky moment for ministry. It was that moment though, when I said, I want to follow the Lord. I don't want to follow man. I don't want to do things for the glory of man. I want to do things for the glory of God. That was the moment that really kind of sparked that. Yeah.
Would you say for you, like that was probably the first time that your faith felt real? Like that was the first time it became your own faith. You're out of the house. It's not your parents' faith. It's not something that you're kind of holding on to, but it's like your own personal faith that you hold on to.
Yeah, for sure. Like growing up in the church, knew all the stories, knew all the things, but this was the moment. Is this really going to be mine? Is this going to be what I do? So yeah, I think that was a big piece of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. What do you think was like the hardest thing that you had to surrender for Christ? Like whenever you had that encounter, that moment, what were the things that you had to give up? Was that, I know you talked a lot about you're trying to fit in.
Yeah.
Was it that? What was the biggest thing?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It's the fear of man complex, right? We all have it to a degree. And so I had to give up being or looking a certain way to people, and in trying to fit in and trying to do those things, I had to totally surrender that side of it. So I think it really was like the biggest thing there was the fear of man, but then also like the selfish desires I had for what I wanted to do in this world, in this life. And to quickly get myself into a place to remember Jesus is Lord of my life, which means he has to run it all. And I'm dust.
Yeah.
Like but I'm God breathed dust, right? So he breathed his life into me. Every breath I take should be for him. And so we all have different ways to be able to do that. And I love what you guys are doing and what you're pursuing here for this generation is you don't have to be full-time ministry.
Yeah, exactly.
Life is ministry, right? And I think that's a big piece that we got to help this generation see. But yeah.
So I just started reading, it was a couple days ago, I started the book, The Awe of God with John Bevere.
John Bevere.
Oh, nice.
It's a good book.
It's been really interesting because it just starts off, and that is the essence of who we are as Christians, is just talking about the fear of God is like the foundation.
Yes.
Once you start from there, everything should be a much easier yes. So basically, once God got your heart right with that, was the concept, I know you kind of touched on it earlier, but was the concept of missions terrifying? Was it an easy yes for you, or was it kind of a slow progression towards that, or what did that look like for you?
Missions was never on my mind. I don't know about you guys, but like I grew up where I saw missionaries come through the church, right?
Yeah.
The slide projectors. There's nothing about that seemed appealing to me at all.
Yeah.
You know? And it was meeting JJ. It was meeting somebody who wanted to give me the time of day. And show me like, oh, wait, there's actually so much more here. This is, it doesn't have to look the way that I had seen it the whole time. Like it can look what it needs to look like for the people that we're reaching and the gifts that God has given me. And so I had zero desire. And I'll be honest, like I said yes to join the team before I'd ever moved to Togo and even seen it. Before I'd even seen it, I've never even visited or anything. Right. There are some people, my wife, she was one like early on, like when she was like 12 years old, knew she was going to be a missionary, right? That's not my story. Some have that call, you know? I think the danger of like putting your call, like attaching it to a place is like, well, what happens when you can't live there? You know what I mean? Like there's so much that happens. Like I think God can call you to a place. I'm not saying he can't, but God didn't call me to Togo. I really don't think so. I think God called me to serve him with the gifts that he's given me. Now, I chose Togo because I believe the Lord was leading me there. I got to follow an awesome leader and to learn from somebody. Like, honestly, anybody who listens to this podcast, wherever, I tell this all the time, make good decisions based off of who you're following too, like who you want to become, follow them. Like, people that want to have like, some people will like, I could take this, the best job, my dream job early on in life in my 20s or something. Or I could do this job and be close to the founder or the leader, but it's not like at the level that I want, you know. Follow the person, the people. That I don't know. That's just, so I followed a leader that I wanted to be with. I got to go, the opportunity. That was the big need, right? Togo needed churches, and I could help do that. Why not? Why not me? And so it had to do with the opportunity, the people that I was following and doing life with, and the gifts that God had given me. I could see, okay, my gifts can be used in this scenario. So I said yes to Togo. I also, if Togo is done tomorrow, if I get kicked out, because that's Africa, like that could happen at any moment. I can still do all of the same things I do in Togo anywhere in the world, because nothing changes. People still need the gospel. Churches still need to be planted. And I'm still me, and there's still great people to do it with. So so again, it was a slow grind, and then it was a quick yes, I'm all in. Let's go. And for now, I'm not looking to go anywhere else. Togo's where it is, but also it's very possible that God will take me somewhere else one day.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
For us and for a lot of our audience, we're probably a lot of younger people.
Sure.
A question I'm sure is probably pretty prevalent is, what did obedience really look like in your life
Hmm.
when clarity wasn't really there? You didn't know exactly what God was calling you to.
Yeah.
How did you take that next step in obedience and the next step and just eventually what led you to Togo?
Man, I am blessed with like leaders and mentors in my life. Like just I can rattle off the amazing men that God has put in my life that has helped me step by step, journey by journey. Your dad, Trent, is one, right? Like he was a big mentor in my life. That's given me more opportunities to step into something and lead something. That he never should have done that.
Mm-hmm.
He's crazy for letting me do some of the things he let me do.
Yeah.
And letting, I'm an ideas guy. So I've got all these crazy ideas and he let me run with them. He's crazy for letting me do that. Right.
Yeah.
So, obedience isn't like figuring out exactly what the next step is. For this generation, something that I think just needs to be said, fall in love with the word of God. Like just love it, consume it, desire it, submit to it. Like that's huge because I want to read it and have that childlike faith to where, okay, this is what it said. I need to go do that right now, whatever that looks like, whatever the Holy Spirit's leading me to do in that. So it's eating and consuming so much of the word, following people that help kind of guide you along the way and not waiting, just saying, here I am, Lord, I'm going to do this next step. People get it wrong, I think, when they're like, all right, I need to figure out where I'm going next. I need to wait for it all to line up before I take that step of obedience. Man, life just doesn't work that way. And you're going to end up doing nothing.
Yeah. If you wait for the perfect moment, the perfect moment's never going to happen.
Yeah. Like Jesus, like inviting the apostles, put your nets down, follow me. It took that. They didn't know where they were going. They said, all right, I'm going to follow this leader.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my nets down. I don't know what's coming next. Let's just go.
Yeah. Right. So. Yeah. And exactly like you said, I mean, they weren't following a mission. They were following the leader.
Yes.
And so, you've brought up so many different people in your life that have been super impactful and have led you to where you are now. Yeah. And I can 100% confidently say that a lot of where you're at, where I'm at, where Wesley's at, is a lot of the people we surrounded ourselves with and the mentors that we have. And that's just such an important thing. I think that everybody would benefit from listening to this is like finding people in your life that that are going to be good mentors, people that are going to point you in the right direction and really having honest conversation with them like, hey man, this is where I'm at. Like I've got these decisions I have to make, or I feel like God is leading me this direction, and just having somebody that you can count on, can, bounce ideas back and forth. That's huge.
Yeah. Find people. Sometimes we look for mentors based off of like what they do. Right. And so it's like, I want to do what they do. Find the people that you want to be. Like, they're the dad that I want to be like one day. They're the husband that I want to be like one day. They're doing some great stuff, but the way he leads, I want to lead like that. And just ask the Lord, like genuinely pray that the Lord would give you those people and then pursue them. Like, I think that's the other side is don't wait for somebody to come tap you on the shoulder. Like, go say, I want to.
God doesn't just give handouts. You got to still put effort towards that,
Yeah. He's making it clear. I put this guy in front of you. You got to go pursue it. Go talk to him.
Yeah. I know in my personal life, and for probably everybody, when you are starting to follow the call of God and step out in obedience, there are going to be times the devil obviously starts attacking, whether it's attacking you, just your thoughts. Were there any seasons in your life where you felt unqualified or just underqualified or overwhelmed and didn't know what to do or how that?
Yeah. Well, I think the devil's attacking you guys in this technology here.
Yes.
So you guys are right in the thick of it. But oh my goodness, so many stories. The big one, I think we talked about this when you guys were in Togo. When I took over as the leader of the team, like I'd only been on the field for 3 years, less than 3 years. That's crazy. Wow. Okay. Like I wasn't even 30 yet. Right. I don't know anything about anything. And I'm leading an entire ministry that was started by a leader who's incredible, right? You guys know him.
Oh yeah.
And started from nothing, and it's really grown to what it is today. And And the intense fear of stepping into that, being like, I'm gonna fail. Like the fear of, this isn't just like, okay, I built it and it failed. I killed something that somebody else built.
Somebody else's
right?
legacy almost.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that, it was debilitating.
Sure.
Fear. And I couldn't even name it at the time. And man, the Lord used that year, really, that first year, really the first 8 months, of just one thing after the other. Like that could go wrong was going wrong. I was dealing with things. Missionaries tell me, like, you dealt with more than what people deal with in a lifetime of missions in 8 months.
Yeah.
It was theft, like high levels of theft in the ministry. It was like pushback from local leaders who are trusted, and just like one thing after the other. I story after story. We had a medical emergency for a girl that was a resident with us. She had just gotten there a year. We had to do an emergency evacuation.
Wow.
Fly her to and deal with all the insurance, like just like what, like crazy stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
And I just remember like one, knowing coming into this, I am not qualified to do this role, but I'm going to step obediently into it. I'm going to do it. I think I desired it more than I should have, like
Sure.
desiring that position, desiring that
Yeah.
authority, desiring that leadership. We all want to think like, yeah, I'm ready for this. Well, God made sure to show me real quick, humility.
Right.
It was good. But I got to a place like August of that year, where I like hit a wall, and I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm ready to be done. That year, every day I was like, all right, I'm ready to just buy a ticket, move back to the States, and be done with this. I don't have what it takes. I'm going to fail. I just such fear of failure, such fear of how other people are perceiving me as well in this role. And so there's a lot of like posturing. I've got to make it look like I've got it together. I got to make it look like I'm smart enough, that I'm dealing with this well. And it was like just carrying the weight of the world, right? Like the imposter syndrome, right? So much in that imposter syndrome. And I hit a wall in August, and it was a quick realization, like, I cannot keep running this way.
Yeah.
Like if I don't get help or something doesn't change, like I'm only 8 months into this.
Yeah.
How are we going to go anywhere? And that was another like good moment. I started meeting with a counselor, like I still meet with that counselor today. And I started to build healthier rhythms in my life, spiritual rhythms and practices that were important. Started practicing Sabbath, started practicing rest, started getting out of this fear mode, this fear of being so, and the only way to get out of fear is just faith, right? Like that is it. And I remember a critical moment. I got to this place, just to be vulnerable, like I got to this place where anytime my phone would ring, I had this anxious moment of, all right, I don't want to pick it up. It took everything in me to want to pick it up, because I was like, something else is about to be wrong.
Sure.
And I'm going to have to figure out how to deal with this. And I don't want to. There was like this intense fear, and I had to like muscle my way to pick that phone up and deal with it. I was traveling, and one of our teammates had really bad malaria, had to go to the hospital. I'm on an airplane. There's nothing I can do. Nothing. Yeah. Absolutely nothing. This was like after I started working with the counselor. This was in September. I was traveling, and there was this surrender moment of like, okay, God, I literally can't do anything. I have to just trust you with this individual, this teammate who I'm responsible for, that you're going to take care of him. And he did. Yeah. And it was a clicking moment that I was able to build off of, all right, I had faith in God. He came through. I can trust him. I can trust him with all of these things. So this is a long story, but yeah, 100% to answer your question.
Yeah, that's super helpful and super relatable too, because I know before we started filming, we were kind of talking about some of the struggles and challenges that we've kind of had just in the first month of this year and all the things along the way. And you can't help but think that, God is using those events and those situations in your life to prepare you to be the man and the person that he needs you to be. in order to be at the level that he's called you to.
Yeah.
So you never know like when in the future God is leading you towards or calling you to. And in the moment you're like, God, why in the world is this happening? Like this situation after situation, like all these different things that are happening, you can make this stuff up. Like why in the world is this happening to me? Like the more I say yes and go deeper, just like more and more things happen.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, it may be a lot of God leading us and helping us become the person that needs us to be, trial by fire. And, steel is made by, you got to temper it. You got to put it through the fire, and God needs to shape you into the person that he needs you to be in order to carry the load he's called you to carry. And so how would you say that God kind of helped you grow in like leadership and reliance on him? It sounded like a lot of it was just saying, hey, like, God, I can't do this on my own.
Yeah.
How did he help you do that along the way?
Yeah. It's the driving me to my knees. Like there was like such a beautiful place of that's what's so good, I think, about stepping out in faith in scenarios where you are unqualified. Like, because it puts you in a posture where we should always be on our knees, hands open. God, I don't know how to do this. I don't know what to do. The only way that this is going to be done is if you do it. That's the only way. And so it was a constant place where I'm just on my knees. Like, God, I don't know what to do. And that's a place that I need to be every day. And so that time of being forced to my knees has turned into a habit of staying on my knees. Now, I hope I don't do it perfectly, 100%. I can always grow in it. But like that, I think that's a part of it. He gave me good people that stuck by my side no matter what, that was able to call me up and call me out on the things that I needed to be called out in. So God used people in my life as well to get me through that scenario, that season. And then, I grew more that year, like in one single year, than maybe an entire lifetime. And that might be overkill, but I don't know that it is. Like it really was so shaping spiritually, but so shaping in leadership, and getting to go through scenarios and hard things, and having to make quick decisions and wise decisions, and not knowing what in the world I'm doing with any of this. Incredibly shaping to be the man that I am today. I could not be leading the amount in the scale and the level of what we're leading right now without that season. Truly believe that. Like there's no way that I would be where I'm at today without having to go through that fire. So the Lord is using that. He is using every moment. You guys know it. One of our leaders, John.
Yeah.
And you've heard really hard.
Yeah.
First beginning of this year,
Yeah.
year one, gets in an accident, guy dies. In Togo, he gets thrown in jail. Really bad scenario.
Yeah.
Really, really bad scenario. I was talking to him last week when I was with him, and he's still kind of coming out of the shock of traumatically, he was it wasn't his fault, but the guy died.
Yeah.
Like he tried to help him and get him to the hospital, but he passed away. Like that's traumatic. That's already one.
Worst case scenario almost. Yeah.
And then he had to spend 3 nights in jail for nothing that he did, but it's just their terrible
legal system,
whatever. And they're just extorting him ultimately. And there's nothing he could do about it. And just as awful as it gets. But what he told me a week ago, he's like, Josh, that sucked. I wish that didn't happen, but all I do know, I don't know why God allowed that, but what I do know is God, the people that God uses the most is the people that God tests the most, that God puts through the fire the most. And so he's like, I don't know what, but I want to do big things for God. So I'm counting on the fact that God is he's a month out since that happened.
Yeah.
And he's already seeing that's the exact thing right there.
That's
is
huge.
Knowing God's good. He is still Lord no matter what's happening in my life. We have to put him on the throne that's where he is. Now, are we visualizing and knowing and living our life as if he is on the throne? That's the thing we have to remind ourselves every day.
I think it's really interesting, like those moments where you either have an encounter with God or you just go through those situations. They obviously are just absolutely terrible, like in the moment. But looking back, like it sounds weird, but you almost wish everybody experiences those moments
100%.
because you're like, man, you view God differently. You just view how much you rely on him.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I mean, we've talked about this the first episode, just kind of how we're building this podcast is when God shapes your heart and transforms you, obviously your whole idea of success just changes. So
Yep.
for success for us as Christians is in faithfulness.
Yeah.
What does faithfulness for you look like in the day-to-day life in Togo on the mission field?
Yeah, it's good. It's a great question. You know, we're pursuing a pretty audacious goal to see a church planted in every single village of Togo right now. And we really think it's going to happen in like the next 4 to 5 years. Like this could really, really happen here. And so what can blind me is going after that goal, right? This is a godly goal, right? To have a church in every village. And I can trick myself into thinking that while I'm going, pursuing this goal in the name of Jesus, I get distracted from Jesus. I lose my intimacy with him. And so faithfulness day in, day out looks like remembering and having that intimate, spending that time with the Lord, having that intimate relationship with the Lord. That is faithfulness number one. I'm a husband and I got a baby on the way. This is crazy. And so faithfulness right now is being a husband to my wife and preparing and already beginning to pray for being a dad coming next, right? And so ministry and work and whatever it is, that is secondary. Faithfulness looks like my intimacy with the Lord, my relationship with the Lord, my relationship with my family and others around me, and keeping that solid, I would say. So faithfulness every day doesn't look any different in Togo than it does here. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So, and then it's living a life of, we have borrowed time. All right. So there is a side of like, faithfulness isn't doing nothing either.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's putting those priorities in place. And here's the deal, like Jesus wasn't rushing around when he was on earth, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
No.
he was walking and
He was
hanging out and going away and praying, and nothing about his life looked really efficient.
No.
But he also, so he was faithful every day, and he wasn't killing himself to this place where let's work. Faithfulness is not just doing for the Lord.
Yeah,
right?
it's not just grinding it out and hard work. We talked about that last episode. Like so many people, they're like, oh man, did all this through hard work and dedication. Right. And it's like, no, you got to understand the importance of, like, even Jesus modeled this so well, is like the idea of silence and solitude. How many times did he go away to pray to the Father? How many times? Like,
the bigger the bigger problems that you're trying to solve in this world, the more you need to be on. Like, as I've grown in leadership, I have found more and more I need more time with the Lord, more time praying and thinking, so that I can be able to give more to what the ministry needs and the organization needs. So it's a journey, it's a process, I think, but you got to keep the priorities the priority. And so faithfulness in Togo, it's faithfulness everywhere. What is the Lord asking of me today? What is, and that is and that's the other thing is, like, he's not asking a lot. Like, he's already, I love you. And I want my time and my intimacy with him to be more about not getting to just know knowledge of him, but being with him. And having that rub off on me, so it rubs off on others. And so that's where faithfulness starts.
Yeah. So you talked a lot about kind of your big goals that you have for Togo and things that you have coming up on the horizon and things that seem crazy for us and our finite minds, but we know God can do it. What are some ways that God has kind of stretched you and stretched your faith in setting those big goals, and maybe in some ways that you didn't expect even?
Yeah. I love getting after some goals. Like, that's like, I just love it.
In mind.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's all right. And I can go too far with that for sure. Like, that's, there's both sides of the coin there. So I would fall on the edge of the side of, like, all right, you need to chill out and slow down. All right. I think there's another side of we don't set goals because we're afraid that
Yeah.
we're gonna fail.
Yeah.
So I've learned, and I'm on a team and I lead a team of both sides of that coin. And so how do we as a team go after big goals? That yes, are human driven, though I believe I'm submitting to what the Lord wants, right? And so we've got to trust that the Holy Spirit's going to work through us and drive us to where we're going. But at the same time, faithfulness is key, right? So it's like sometimes we say faithfulness and progress and like in goal setting almost don't go together.
Sometimes they collide. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, no,
Yeah.
there's no reason why. So, but goal setting, how that's stretched. Yeah, man. I think that, so perfect example would be when JJ was recruiting me to be a part of the team, the goal was to have 20 churches planted in the city of Anejo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got there. By the time I landed on the ground in 2020, by 2021, 2022, we had 25 churches. Right. So I was like, whoa, this is not a big enough goal.
Yeah.
We've got to blow this up.
Mm-hmm.
And so ultimately goal setting begins to look more like, God, what is wrong? Like what's wrong in this world that needs to be redeemed for your name, for your sake?
Mm-hmm.
And then as you start to ask that question, it's like, well, there's a lot wrong. Like this is going to take a lot to be able to, it's going to take you to be able to do it. That's when we're starting to hit a good goal.
Yeah.
Is when it becomes impossible, one for me or one organization. That's where I'm starting to go with this goal setting.
Mm-hmm.
Is if it's possible for me and my team to accomplish it, it's too small.
Yeah.
We need to start including other people, other teams, other organizations, other ministries. How are we going to do this big goal together?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think one, setting into that and being okay with like, hey, a goal is a goal. It's human, right?
Yeah.
I'm okay if it fails. Like I'm not married to the goal. I'm focused more on what God wants us to do and stewarding that well. And so I'm going to charge this. The moment that I think that's the danger too, is you hold on to the goal too much. Like, well, I said I was going to do this.
Yeah.
Be willing to let go of that thing. Like in our ministry, the ministry was really focusing on this camp. We're going to do this big camp. We're going to go after it. And there was a lot of things that today, the camp has never launched. It never even got started. And the problem is like, we raised a lot of money for it. We said, this is the way that we're going to see churches planted and everything. Well, God made it really clear, really quick. Like there's actually another way that's going to accomplish the goal. Okay. We're going to do it that way then. Whatever it takes to get what God wants ultimately.
Yeah, so I'm sure, as is anything, the devil, I feel like, always attacks too. Just when you're trying to build something, or even with a team, and you're building a team and you're working with so many different people. I feel like the biggest thing sometimes, I know for myself, is in the day-to-day life, he can make things seem boring. They don't have much purpose. And even on the flip side, there are moments where you're at your high, things are really moving. God is working great, and God's always working. But throughout your journey of being in Togo, what is one story or one thing that has really stuck out to you? And it's kind of like a just cornerstone story for yourself that you always look back to and you're like, that really just sticks with me.
I'm sure it's hard to come up with one because just in the short amount of time that we were there, there's just so much happening. This is like every day is something else.
Things,
yeah, crazy stuff. Yeah.
One of the favorite ones is one of our second church that was planted. It's called the Solution Church. There was one guy in the church. He's not a pastor. He's not. He was just a leader in the church, a faithful member that would come. He would regularly go out and share the gospel in this village up the road on his own. This wasn't like orchestrated by the church. Let's do this as an event. He was just doing it. He was just being faithful to what he felt like was his call, was to go share the gospel. He went to this village, didn't have a church in it. It was home to a really powerful witch doctor in the area. This witch doctor's name was Jongo. And he would go and he'd share the gospel with him faithfully every day. And this is a witch doctor. Like he's the guy that they have like a hierarchy, and he's the witch doctor that all the other witch doctors go to in the region. So he's way up there. The demons he consults with, the different idols that he sacrifices to, like, he's the powerful guy, he's the influential guy, so he's the top dog. So basically, after like regularly going and sharing the gospel, the John Go eventually was like, all right, man, I'm not going to go to church, but I'm going to let my family go to church. So almost wore him down.
Mm-hmm.
The moment his family goes to church, his power stops working. And but he's the top dog, right? So he's supposed to be the guy that has all the answers, but he's got no one to go to. So he's trying all these different things and everything, but his power stops working, which is his livelihood, his power, his prestige, all of the things. And so eventually he just has this idea, well, okay, maybe this, like, Jesus that they talk about will give me my power back. So I'll go to church. Goes to church, hears the gospel, gives his life to Christ. Easter Sunday, what was it, 2022? We go baptize him, and then we go to his house afterwards, and we get to have an idol burning. This is the most fun thing to be a part of, is an idol burning. Like, we have idols here in America too. We need to start doing that. Before we do baptisms, we do idol burnings. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's great. So, like, I mean, legit idols.
Yeah.
In Togo, this dude, I've never seen so many idols before. Literally idols built into the foundation of his home. Okay? Like, this, when I say, like, his whole life was voodoo, I mean, literally
the foundation of his life was built on voodoo. Yeah.
Digging them up from the ground, everything, hundreds and hundreds. Like, we're there forever, just digging them up. Whole time we're doing this, the church is there. They're just singing hymns. They're singing praises to the Lord. He's standing there. His whole family came to Christ in this time. It's like the Philippian jailer experience. We're getting it. We're burning it together. As we're pulling different idols out, pastor's telling me, like, hey, that's an idol. Like, that idol, like, demands human blood, right? So, like, this, like, whoa, this is a powerful, this is a real deal. Everything, like, he just threw away. We just burned his livelihood, his prestige, everything. This life is about to get really hard for him by doing this. Like, he's going, I'm not going back. Right. And I'm telling the whole world, again, he's the guy that all the other witch doctors go to. So he's in trouble, and, but he's all in. He gives his life to Christ. We burn it. Today, 3 years later, it's been hard. It's been really, really hard. 4 years later, planted a church in his village. He's planting a church right now. They did the Jesus film earlier this year, and he shared his testimony, and people in the village were like, yes, it's true. We know that this is true. We knew who he was before, and he's definitely different now. And so that's, like, yeah, I'll give my life for that. That's pretty awesome. Let's see more witch doctors give their life to Christ.
Yeah. That's pretty incredible. That's so cool to see. Yeah. So one of the big emphases of this podcast, and something we want to target, is specifically, how do you help young people get involved with the mission of what God is doing around the world, and how do we have kingdom impact? So what do you think are, like, the biggest things that are misunderstood in missions that, young people don't understand, or common misconceptions that you see?
Yeah. Well, that's a good question. I think there can be a mentality of, well, the problem's so big, what can I do? So I won't engage. I think the other side is, well, let's go. We have all of the answers because we're Americans, right? Both are wrong. And so I think there's a balance there. And I think engagement looks like it. Sometimes we paint mission trip opportunities as, come, do, you'll feel really good. It's not about us.
Yeah.
It's about the glory of God and serving other people, and serving our brothers and sisters all over, and seeing more come to faith in him. And so I think sometimes there can be oh, I don't want to go because I don't know what I would do. Man, like, engage, because, like, that is what we're called to do, is bring the gospel to the ends of the earth, from Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, to the ends of the earth, Acts 1:8, right? To be witnesses everywhere, to engage with that. So I think there's so many ways. I think as a young person, we also think, like, well, I don't have money, so I can't give. Man, see, give what you have.
Sure.
Like, give a little bit here and there, and there's so much opportunity. And we're talking about return on investment a little bit, right? Kingdom investment. Like, well, obviously that's a different economic mentality, but
Mm-hmm.
that same idea of I can give a little to ministry in Africa, to ministry overseas. Actually, God can really use that little bit.
Mm-hmm.
A ministry that we know very well, the Timothy Initiative. I'll
Yeah.
shout them out. All right, like
Yeah.
$500 plants
They're
a
awesome.
church.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
like anybody can do that. That's
Yeah.
not that hard. Like,
Sure.
so I think be ready to give of your time, be ready to give of your talents, be ready to give of your resources. Engage in every moment that you can. The more that you can experience the outside world as well, outside of America,
Mm-hmm.
I think it just grows our ability to see, man, there's so much more to this world than just our understanding of it. So the more that you can engage in that, the better. I think the body of believers, like, that's a global thing. That's not just an American thing, right?
Mhm.
And so we are missing something if we're not engaging with the global church. Our brothers and sisters, we have gifts from the Holy Spirit to give the global church, right? And they have gifts as well for us to receive. So when you engage in mission, don't go just because you want to give. Go because you also want to receive something. Like
Mm-hmm.
Romans 1, Paul's writing to the Romans, and he's talking about how he wishes to come visit them, that we might impart our spiritual gifts one to another, that we can to learn from one another and to be encouraged by one another. So we have something to give and we have something to receive. So I don't know what that means. I don't know how you want to summarize some of that.
Yeah.
Engage. Like, it's not about you as well.
Mhm.
It's about God ultimately
Mhm.
and serving other people. Whatever that opportunity is, man, just
Sure.
go for it.
So we're talking about execution and just obedience. If there are any young people that are listening to this who
Yep.
are remotely or interested at all in missions, how do you think they're able to step into that direction? What
That's
does
good.
that look like for them to do that right now and have kingdom impact and segue into what you've done, or
Yeah.
even what it looks like for their life?
Yeah. So good. But this is like, really engage in your local church. That's key.
Mhm.
Start there, right? Acts
Mhm.
1:8. The Holy Spirit will come upon you, and you will be witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. We were just talking about this before the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that idea. Sometimes I meet people that are like, well, I'm called to be a missionary, but they don't serve locally. They're not even serving currently in their local church. Well, what's going to magically change getting on an airplane? How are you magically going to become this person who serves and makes disciples in a foreign land, in a new place that you don't know the language and you don't know?
Right.
You're never, like,
Yeah.
start right now in your backyard and in the people around you. Engage in your local church, like that community, that submission to the local body, the authority in our life of the scripture and the leaders that God has placed in our life. That's key. So engage in your local church and find ways to serve your Jerusalem, which is your backyard, the people around you. You're here, as some people would say it. Judea is your near place, but Samaria, this is where it gets really hard. Like, you want to taste of missions, start engaging with your Samaria. And at this time, Samaritans were people that the Jews hated.
Mhm.
Okay. Jews, that they were dirty to them. They were so different. They represented like a totally different way of thinking, a different culture. Everything about them was different. So what would it look like for you to engage your Samaria? Probably looks like crossing that neighborhood, that street, to begin getting to know and having relationships with people that don't look like you, that don't talk like you, and don't think like you.
Mhm.
That's hard.
Yeah.
How are you making disciples there? And so I think that's where you start. Engage there. Go on a mission trip. Go see the world. Go engage there. But don't think you're gonna go save the world, right? Like, God doesn't need us, but man, he uses us, and what a gift that is.
Yeah.
So again, I think work on that mentality of I want to serve where I'm at, and God's gonna guide you along the way. But don't wait, saying I'm waiting for that perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
Begin praying that the Lord would give you people to share the gospel with, to begin making disciples in your own family, in your own neighborhood, in your own community, and then follow that step by step. And if the Lord calls you overseas, wonderful. Like, go after it. We need more missionaries. We need more people. There are too many people in the world that are dying today because they've never heard the gospel, because they have nobody that will take it to them. Like, that is a real, true reality. And we have to put our head on a pillow tonight and come to grips with, how am I engaging with that? The gospel, the church has existed for over 2,000 years. And yet there's still that many people that don't know the gospel. Like over 3 billion people.
Yeah.
That's absurd. And we have too many resources and too much time and too much that we have. Why not give to that? Now, that doesn't mean everybody needs to move overseas, but like, we need to engage in that ends of the earth mentality. So that's what I would say is, if you're not making disciples now in your local community, you're not going to make them overseas. Start making disciples now. Start engaging in ministry in your local church and your local community now.
But that was what we opened up with last week.
Yeah.
Is it Luke 6, I think? Where it says, he who is faithful with little will be faithful in much. So it's a whole heart posture.
Yeah.
If you are wanting it now, God will bless you with it, and he knows that you will steward that automatically for what you've done already. So.
Right. And you guys, like, what this podcast stands for and what you guys are trying to pursue here is, I mean, you don't need to be full-time ministry, seminary educated to make disciples.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
To follow the will of God, to be in ministry. You don't need to be paid to do it or full-time and to do it. Like, you guys are doing it in the work that you're doing. And we need a generation that's ready and willing to step into those kind of things. And so God had called us to make disciples. That's what he called us to. He didn't call us to ministry. He didn't call us to church planting even. And I love church planting. He calls us to make disciples.
Yeah.
And we gather those disciples into a local church.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
Yeah. And like, how God allows us to make disciples, a lot of times it's just with where we're at in life. We all have different strengths and resources and things we're good at, and specific places where God has allowed us to be a part of, where, maybe if you're in full-time ministry, you may not have the opportunity to do ministry there, but the fact that you're in workplace environments or you're surrounded by a group of people, that is your ministry right there, wherever you are, whatever it looks like. That is who you're able to do ministry with. And that's kind of like the first step that you can take in that direction. Even like when we were in Togo, it was incredible to see how many young people that were our age and even younger. Like there was Antoine, 22 years old, has planted 2 churches, which is crazy to think about. And he's been the guy to say, hey, God, whatever you're calling me to do, open hands, open arms, open life, God, whatever it is, like, I'm going to go where you're leading, where you're calling me. I may not have all the answers. I may not have all the resources, but I feel like it's where you're calling me to go. And so I'm going to go that direction. And there was just so many stories and things that we saw there of young people that are getting on board. And I don't know how many others. I mean, you're there every day, there's so many.
Oh, so many stories.
And it's just so cool to see that movement of young people that are getting on board with the mission and saying, okay, I want to be a part of this.
And Antoine's I'm so glad you brought him up.
Yeah.
Antoine, I love sharing that dude's story. 22, 23 right now, somewhere around there. I think he just had a birthday. First believer in his family. Like, and his family worship voodoo. And so it's a communal religion and communal culture. So the moment he isn't sacrificing to the idols that his family is, he's like inviting like the spirits to come onto him. So they have to kick him out. Like, you're out. So first believer in his family, and he faithfully he's discipled by the pastor. He lived at the church. The way he planted that church was, one, he was still trying to reach his family this whole time, praying for them, just such a heart for his family to come to the gospel. Eventually his mom and his sister come to Christ, but his dad just not at all. Right. But he's praying. He's in high school. He's 16, 17 years old. And he just felt like the Lord was telling him to go share the gospel up this village. He actually found out about this village because his mom sent him on an errand to go do something. He realized there's no church here and there's nobody here that seems to know the gospel. So he just immediately realized, like, all right, who's going to take it? He started praying. He would come home after school every day, and he would get on a bike and ride up the road and just start sharing the gospel.
Mm-hmm.
He would tell you he accidentally planted a church. Like he didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
17 people give their life to Christ over several weeks. So he starts gathering them together and discipling them. And it is a church 3-4 years later. And he's already raising up leaders who are planting more churches right now, which is just so faithful to just do it. And again, he continued to pray for his family because, right, like that's his Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Right. Those are the people who need the gospel. I'm so pumped. Like back in November, he led his dad to the Lord.
Yeah.
His dad has given his life to Christ and is devouring scripture. And so like,
That's awesome.
like that is a 22-year-old, same age, like as you guys. And he's just like, God, I don't know. Like, and he'll tell you, I don't know what I want to do. Like it's like, I think God kind of made it out for you, but he's like, I don't want to be a pastor. Like he will say that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a pastor. I'm like, well, I don't know that you got a choice at this point. Like it, you know, it is, but his viewpoint, I'm like, and honestly, I don't want you to be a pastor either. Like keep pursuing what the Lord wants. And he's like, honestly, he's told me this. He's like, right now he's trying to pursue medical right now and become a nurse. But he tells me, he's like, I'm always going to make disciples. I'm always going to be a part of planting churches.
Yeah.
I'm always going to be a part of sharing the gospel everywhere I can, no matter what I do. I was like, you know, that's a pretty good place. I think you're right where God wants you to be.
Yeah.
I love that verse in 2 Timothy where it says, let no man despise you of your youth. I mean, obviously 16, 17 years old, I'm sure he felt lots of, you know, people that are like, what are you doing? I mean, what is this whole thing you're talking about? But it just shows you that no matter how old you are, no matter where you're at in life, like God can use you if you just say, here I am, God, use me. I love the story of Samuel where he says, you know, here I am, Lord, use me. Like whatever it is, just be open to what that is. So as we kind of wrap it up, if you could leave the audience and listeners with one encouragement about how to live a life that glorifies God and has kingdom impact, what would you say that is?
Remember that Jesus is Lord. He is on the throne. And when you said yes to him, you submitted to that. Whether you knew it fully or not, he is on the throne. We are dust, and to dust we will return. There is nothing special about me. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The only thing that gives me a sort of idea of special or identity or life is that I'm not just dust, I'm God-breathed dust. I am an image bearer of the one true King of this world. Anything I do has nothing to do with me. Any good, anything that could be good, considered good, is God in me. We have to constantly remind ourselves, especially in this culture, it's not about finding my identity. It's about dying every single day and taking the identity of Christ upon me.
Yeah.
Constantly be on your knees, remembering that the Lord is on the throne and I am dust, but I am God-breathed dust. Meaning the life that he's given me, he sent me on mission to do what he would want me to do. So this is not my life. This is not my time. This is not my money. This is not my resources. Remember that every single day and fall in love with the Word of God. Like, just want to spend so much time in it. Not just because you want to know theology, but because you want to be in love with the God who loved us so much to send his only son for us. That even while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Like, what? Even somebody might die for a righteous man.
Yeah. But
God died for somebody who didn't deserve it, a sinful person. Like, man, I want that to overwhelm me, and we need that to overwhelm a generation.
Yeah.
Because that drives us to our knee every day. And then it gets us up and turns everything we see into ministry, into mission.
Mm-hmm.
So we give it all to that.
Well, I know when we were there in Togo, one of the biggest things that, really y'all taught us, the culture taught us, and it was just, I feel like, I think we asked you one time when we were headed to the market one day, we were asking, what's probably the biggest thing that y'all need in Togo, the biggest, thing that y'all think would really help have the most impact for y'all's mission. And I feel like most times it's a common thing to think that it's mostly money. It's all monetary needs, stuff like that. But it was, y'all said, I mean, and even seeing over there, just the, open attacks of the devil over there. Really, the only most important thing, and y'all said it, was prayer.
Yeah.
So, in saying of that, if prayer is the most powerful thing, and we obviously believe prayer is powerful, we've seen it change our lives, we've seen it change lives all over the world. How can we pray for you guys? How can we pray for the people and nation of Togo? And how can the audience also do that?
Yeah. Yeah. Prayer, we believe, like, everything we're seeing right now is because we have an incredible community of people that are praying to see this happen. Like, we live in a dark place. Like, listen, okay? Like, the spiritual world, the devil himself he's not omnipresent. Let me make that clear, theologically clear. I don't want to give him any credit
Not
that
at
he
all.
does not deserve, but the spirits of this world, the power, like, so we have it here in the US. It just looks different. It's really in your face in Togo. It just is. It's more.
You can feel it while you're over there.
Yeah, you absolutely can. It's a place that has just been totally, like, godless for like, and the enemy has used slave trade, and has used voodoo to trap and enslave an entire people group, an area of the world. And that's going to take the gospel, and that's going to take Christ. That's going to take laborers to go into the harvest. And so, pray for the believers there, because pray for faithfulness, pray for security. Like, they are told when they come to Christ, like, if you leave voodoo, voodoo will kill you. And so there's this intense fear all the time that what if I step away from voodoo and give my life to Jesus, I'm going to die, right? Physically, but then also they're outcasts from society. So pray for those people that are there, that are stuck in this cultural reality. Pray for those that are sharing the gospel, that they would be protected, and that they would be funded, that they would have what they need to do, and that they would have a heart, a compassion, I think, for the people as well, to see people know Jesus. Pray for laborers, right? Like, that's what Jesus said. Like, he said, look, the harvest is plentiful, the laborers are few. Therefore, pray earnestly to the Lord of harvests to send laborers into his harvest. Okay. Like, he didn't, I love that, because what us Americans, like, that want to just go do, it's like, when I read that, I automatically just was like, all right, well, I'll go. Obviously, I'm the one that needs to go. He didn't tell him to go. He said to pray to God. It's his harvest. It's his mission. It's his people that he needs to send. So pray for more to go. If we're going to see a church planted in every single village of Togo, we need 7,000 more churches. Okay. That's not crazy. Like, no, honestly, that's like
doable.
Possible.
Yeah.
But it's also a lot.
It is.
And we need the people that are going to be trained to go do that. And the people that are going to be faithful to live that out, and that the attacks of the enemy would be pushed back. So I'd say those are some of the key things to pray for right now. So engage with us right now. Our team, 6th Degree Initiative, 6thDegreeInitiative.org. You can go there and check it out. Like, we are, a big push that we have is we want to do 1,000 prayer walks this year in the voodoo capital of the world. So we've kind of marked out in the south east section of Togo would be considered like the hub, the mecca of voodoo. And there's about 1,000 villages in that area that need a church. So we want to, in Luke 10, Jesus sends out the 72. He says to go into every village to prepare the way for Jesus's arrival. So that's what we're doing. We want the gospel to come into every one of these places. So we're going to go. We're going to send and mobilize the church to send people into every single 1,000 villages to do a prayer walk, begin praying. And what happens every time they go to these is they get to share the gospel and people get to come to Christ. So we're going to these red and yellow villages, these places that don't have the gospel, that don't have a church. And so, but with that, we're also asking for 1,000 people to adopt a village, to begin praying for it this year, that we would eventually see that village that's red or yellow turn to green, meaning there's a church and there's believers there. And so engage with us in that. We're looking for 1,000 people to sign up. And so you can do that, sixthgreeninitiative.com under prayer. You can find it there, and you can sign up to be one of the 1,000 people to pray for this village. And we're praying that there are people there that are going to die if we don't send somebody to bring the gospel to them. They're going to die and go to hell. That is not okay. Yeah. We have to pray that the Lord would send laborers to the harvest. So join us in that. I think that would be a great way to engage.
Yeah. Josh, thank you so much for everything. This was an awesome conversation. You know, we always love every conversation we get to have with you. And you know, we'll be back to Togo this year. So we're super excited about that.
Can't wait.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, back in December. So thank you so much for giving up your time. And if anybody wants to get involved with his ministry, we'll leave a link down below where you can see whatever things they're doing in Togo. And if you feel led to give or be involved with some of the prayer walks they're doing, definitely do that. It's an awesome ministry. We've been, being able to kind of get under the hood and see it on the ground. And it's just so cool to see some of the ministry work that you guys are doing. So thanks again. And we'll see you guys later.